Hi friends, this is Dr. Vatiri and I want to welcome you to the first section, which is part one of our Dominion Diet lesson. Okay, and this is part of our 7-part series or our 7-section series in the Genesis Life Wellness Program. Now, let's look at the first two words here that we're dealing with. The first word is dominion and the second word is diet. Now, I know when we hear that word diet, some people get nervous and they start thinking like, oh my goodness, here we go, another diet. I need to restrict myself or eliminate all the food I love, and I can't have certain quantities of foods and combinations of food. And that word diet has a connotation traditionally of being something negative. Not that it doesn't help that the word diet has the word die in it, but we have to look at the first word that goes before diet. And in this case, it's called dominion diet. Now, the word dominion means to take authority over or to have control over. And that's what we're looking to accomplish in our program called the Dominion Diet. What I want you to be able to do as you go through our whole series is to have dominion over everything that in the past had dominion over you. You see, you need to be in control of taking care of your wellness. You need to be the one that has to be motivated day in and day out. When you wake up first thing in the morning until you go to bed at night, you need to be looking at yourself and this body that you inhabit, this temple, and really start to show respect towards it, so at the end you can give God the glory for giving your body this ability to be healthy. Now, when we look through this word again, dominion diet, what we're going to learn over the next maybe 4 parts or the next 2 weeks of lessons is how do we take control over what we eat. So not only do we have to understand how we're going to portion our foods, but we're going to be able to realize what the food is and what the food does for our body. Now, one of the key things that we need to do now, if you have not have it out already, you may even have to pause the video, is to make sure you have your food diary log out and your eat sheet, because I'm going to be reviewing those and give you an understanding on how to fill those charts out. The next thing we have to understand is this, is that we're not dealing with restriction. As a matter of fact, if you look at the food diary log and you notice on the bottom I have an example of a diet, there really isn't a restriction there. As a matter of fact, most people who just so happen to follow that example will realize that the last thing that you're going to experience when you're dealing with our program is being starved to death, because it's not about restricting things. It's about adding things. It's about adding things that are going to be healthy for you, and in the meantime, making substitutions for the things that you like, but in a more healthy fashion. Okay? Now, one of the things that I notice with so many diet programs or wellness programs is, in order to entice people, they come up with this the concept of the jump start. Now, I'm not against the jump start, and if you notice that when I speak about it in my book about a jump start program, it sometimes can throw us off. Meaning that we're so desperate to get in shape, or we're so desperate to lose some weight. We want to do something drastic, and the jump start or the boot camp or the serious, intense 7, 4, 6-day program to have this tremendous makeover is really enticing, because what happens is we feel guilty in actuality for maybe weeks, months, years, or decades of not taking care of ourselves, that we think if we do something that's going to be somewhat punishing or something that's going to be real intense, that we'll be able to get on the road to great health. The problem is sometimes the jump start doesn't have the discipline or doesn't have the foundation to, once you get past this jump start week, to really continue a program. So I'm not fully against it, but I'm against it to the point that you think it's going to do what it's going to do. Because most of the times it turns into a counterproductive plan. So what we want to be able to do right in the beginning of our Genesis Life Wellness Program and the beginning of our Dominion Diet is we need to get some starting points. We need to get some measurements. We need to have a beginning. We need to have several middles, and then eventually an end. So, but we need to have right now is a baseline. We need to know where you are right now. I want to know where you are. You need to know where you are. And the best way to do that is simply get on the scale. Now, the scale I recommend is that we have a scale that will also measure our body fat percentage and also give us our resting or basal metabolic rate. Now you may say to yourself, well, where am I going to get that? Well, see, nowadays there's just about every store and online. All you need to is just put it in your search engine and you will find a place and they'll ship it to you overnight. And if you spend more than $100, you'll probably get it for free. But it would be a good idea to have that tool as a measuring device. Now, a regular scale is okay, but it just gives you the weight. And to be honest with you, your weight is the least important thing that we're going to be looking at. Now, you may say to yourself, well, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to be down to 140 because that's what I was when I was 25 years old. And that may be good, and it may be part of our goal setting. But in reality, the body fat percentage is what's going to give us an idea of how healthy we are, because it's going to give us a parameter of how healthy the inside of our body is working. And the resting or the basal metabolic rate will give us the tools necessary to judge approximately how many calories you should be eating, how we proportion our calories, and approximately how much exercise we should be doing on a daily basis in order to get to that ideal body fat percentage. Understanding this, in women, a body fat percentage over 35%, you're considered clinically obese. A male over 30%, you're considered clinically obese. Now, what goes along with that clinical obese number is this, is that your increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer can go up as high as 95% greater than somebody who was in a state of physical fitness, when a body fat percentage of normal in a woman would be 28% and a male around 22%. And obviously, if we want to be in great shape, young ladies, we need to get it down 25, 24%. And men, I'm not sure, if you've heard stories about, football players and Olympic athletes with 4% body fat. That's not what I'm asking. But if you can get your body fat percentage into teens, my friend, you're doing really well. So let's start off the program. And when we look at our eat sheet, you'll see down on the bottom there's an example of foods that are recorded in there. And what I want you to do for the very first week is this, is I want you to get into the habit of recording what you're doing. Okay, now this is extremely important, and I'll get to I'll get to that in just a moment. But what I want you to do is, for the next 7 days, this is the beginning of your program, to record down everything you eat and the time that you ate it. Okay, so if in the morning you woke up and you had a banana, so you put at 7:30 one banana. Okay, if you had yourself some cereal, you put in there cereal with milk, or cereal with soy milk, or oatmeal. Or if you had yourself an egg, was it a scrambled egg? Was it a hard-boiled egg? Have somewhat of a description. If you're having chicken, if you're going to go as far as having fried chicken, then you have to put fried chicken, because there's a difference between a fried chicken and a grilled chicken. And we need to be able to understand that and learn the reasons why we do that. The first week, though, all I want you to do is just get in that habit of writing it down, recording all the foods, the time that you eat it, what you ate, how it was prepared, and the last part of that is I want you to understand or get a concept of the approximate quantity of the food. It was 1 cup of something, or if it was 4 ounces. Now, I'm not asking you to go out and get yourself some sophisticated scale and say that you had 7.5 ounces of something. No, I want you to learn how to be realistic, but in the world of approximation. So if, for example, you're going to make yourself some grilled chicken, and there's 4 chicken cutlets in the package, and you grill them up, understand that, and it's 1 pound. So each one of those are going to be 4 ounces each, because 16 ounces make a pound. So, and then once you learn what it looks like, okay, like what a cup of rice looks like, or what a cup of pasta looks like, I want you to start memorizing that. Okay, it's all part of the ownership principle.